Well, I asked Democratic Senator from Maryland Ben Cardin if progressive complaints about Democrats' ineffective efforts to stop Kavanaugh are fair.
I agree that the process has been unfair. To have an outside group make the list available to the president is wrong. The way the president went about doing the nomination I thought was wrong. And certainly the failure to produce documents is wrong. Having said that, I think the most important thing is to get the information out to the American people, to deal with the facts and circumstances, how this nomination will affect your rights. Will this person stand up for the independence of the Supreme Court to protect your rights against the abuses of government, against the abuses of whether it's the president or Congress or corporate America? Will they stand up for your constitutional rights? And there's a lot of material here that we would like to talk about. So I think it's important we get that information out to the American people.
How do you respond to Chairman Grassley, who says there's been 5 times the amount of document production for this nominee that there have been for the numerous nominees before him combined?
And it's not a matter of counting the documents. It's a matter of whether there is the full release of all information that is relevant to evaluate this nominee. And quite frankly, the time that Judge Kavanaugh spent is in the White House, they're important records for us to have. It tells a lot about his views on a lot of different issues that are important today. That information has not been made available.
We know that thousands of documents, tens of thousands, have been released, maybe hundreds of thousands with relation to the White House. I know it's not everything, which both sides admit may be nearly impossible to get at this point. He's been pressed on a number of issues: executive power, abortion, guns. Have you heard enough in his answers and what you've seen so far? We'll have another day of questioning tomorrow to answer some of the concerns you have. Would you argue that he's not qualified?
No, I would tell you that he certainly has the law school background, the professional experience that you would want to see in a nominee. My concern is that he looks like he has an agenda, that he comes off of a list prepared by outside groups, that he, in many of his rulings, ruled on the side of powerful interests, whether it's governmental interests or private sector interests. I'm concerned about the right of privacy and whether he will enforce those rights to protect individuals. I'm concerned about the status of the health care laws against pre-existing conditions, about consumer issues, whether he sides with the powerful or whether he will side with consumers. It's those issues that cause me concern, and we are talking about a person who will affect decisions on the Supreme Court for the next decade.
Do you feel comforted by the fact that he says he will adhere to precedent on things like Roe and others? He says it's not his position to legislate from the bench, but to simply call balls and strikes. He's laid out his record here. Does it give you any comfort?
Well, we know that the Supreme Court, by some 5-4 decisions, have reversed precedent in the past. And in some cases, they've done it by unanimous decision, Brown v. Board of Education, which advanced constitutional rights. My concern is whether will he use the right of advancing constitutional protections, and in some cases not be committed by the past to make sure that we advance the rights of individuals against the powerful. So those types of decisions, I'm not comforted when someone says that they'll follow stare decisis or follow the precedents of the court. We expect a nominee to say that. The question is, where does he stand when it comes to your rights, to protect your rights for your health care, to make your own health care decisions, to protect your rights as a consumer to be able to buy health insurance that protects the interests that you have, how he will protect your rights against corporate America to make sure you have clean air and clean water. That's what I'm concerned about.
What do you make of the allegations or suggestions that there's been a coordinated effort with Senate Democrats and these protesters that we keep seeing pop up?
Well, you know, I can assure you that I know nothing at all about that. Individuals are here. I would prefer that the proceedings be done in an orderly manner so that we can get the message out at this hearing about these issues that I've talked about.